There are a lot fewer two-parent families.
What's worth more, a dollar today or a dollar tomorrow?
Almost nobody gets out of love alive.
Prisoners' rights is out of sight, out of mind.
Is your brain on God?
You ain't ready to
There are discussions as
how they thought
black families have to have them.
What's worth more, a dollar today or a dollar tomorrow? What's worth more, a dollar today or a dollar tomorrow? What's worth more, a dollar today or a dollar tomorrow?
Welcome, folks, to your Reality Gurus, the show we take a commonsensical approach to issues through complex conversation. I'm your host, G. Cleve. Man, LeBron James has been real big in the news this week, opening up this school in Akron, Ohio. I promise. Man, incredible, man, for a superstar athlete, greatest basketball player in the world. Stuff that he does off court, real commendable. I got my fellas here. We're going to get into this thing real quick, man. Fellas, Anye, Andy, DB, Reality Gurus, what's going on with you guys this morning?
Chilling.
Okay, all right,
Kobe said it.
so I know
Kobe
y'all
said it.
heard about the school, right? I know y'all heard about the school that LeBron James is opening in Akron, Ohio. Tuition is free. Graduates will get free tuition to what is it? A school? It's a college in Ohio. It's Akron University or something like that,
If they graduate,
right?
yeah. If they graduate, yeah, they get one.
Not to mention the I guess in the lobby area, the wall is covered with these sneakers that LeBron James has actually worn in his games, and he's going to auction these things off, and I guess they're going to put the names of the people, and all of the proceeds is going to go to the school. Some real, elite narcissistic shit. But I'm with it. I'm with it. Because the money is going
You
towards.
think, I mean, if I built a school, where the fuck? You better have statues and murals of my greatness.
Oh, hey,
I'm giving you
you should
free
be
bikes.
surprised he didn't put his name on it. It's a prime school. I promise right now, yeah.
Well, all right. So we all know that this is incredible, an incredible feat, an incredible accomplishment by an athlete, greatest basketball player in the world. But I saw something interesting today about the question was, does these moves by LeBron right now, does that diminish the legacy of the supposed GOAT, greatest of all time, Michael Jordan? I mean, is it possible? Is it possible that the stuff that LeBron James is doing is diminishing the legacy of GOAT?
Hell
Well,
yeah. He's
somebody take
completely
it.
diminished it,
Somebody take
man.
it.
Look. He didn't lap Jordan like 3 times over, man. He's on that level of like Muhammad Ali, just almost. Almost. Because you got to sacrifice it all to be on the level of Ali.
Right,
So
right,
just
right,
almost. You right up under him.
right. What you think, Andy? How you feel about that, Andy?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Oh, you're asking me? No, hell no, it doesn't diminish his legacy
does it?
because I'm talking about his skill set in the game is still legendary.
Okay.
I mean, him as a person, who cares? Whatever. Maybe he's not that kind of person to really care about charity. He don't have to give his fucking money to make schools. It's my money, and I get to do what I want with my money.
Okay, so
But if we're going to talk about court, it's still debatable. When we're talking about, I mean, philanthropy as a human being, okay, yes, LeBron is the all-star. He's all-star.
okay, so again, people say that your off the court actions also plays a part, into how you viewed as an overall, athlete. You understand what I'm saying? So, DB, how you feel about that?
I mean, I kind of feel like Jordan has kind of been going down regardless. I mean, from people getting killed for trying to, get Jordans in a line. It's kind of always been that thing going like, oh, why you not speaking out on it? Why you quiet? Where, people started building that from then. Where now, like once you got somebody like LeBron making moves like this is kind of added on to that. This is kind of like, because they're already looking at you on your outside moves, on you being silent on this. And now this man is outshining you by doing this voice community. What are you doing?
Right,
So I think that was kind of bound to happen regardless. You know what I mean? For Michael Jordan.
right. Okay, well, all right. So let's go back to Mr. LeBron James for a minute and kind of focus on what he's doing in Los Angeles. Like, people seem to think that the move out there was for him to go and get next to Hollywood. What do you guys think about that move out to LA? Like, what do you think that was about? You think it's mostly basketball? Or is this a long term, some other goal that he has focused on, especially with the fact that he just left that promise school, that I promise school in Ohio? What do you think his next move? Like, what do you think his long term goal is, man? What do you guys think,
Well, it was definitely a chess move. He looks up to Magic Johnson. Magic is definitely a big staple out in LA as far as the things that he's done for LA, as far as putting jobs within the community for LA. So I can see LeBron following that same pattern. Having that tutelage right there, like, hey, here's how to transition. After basketball into being an even bigger person to the community and raking up some more chips.
man?
And also provide for the community, for the people.
Indeed, indeed. I like that. Like I had said, to some people once before, like, as soon as the move was made, man, I said, I thought it was a great move. Especially since Magic Johnson is over there. Who else? Who else to be, And even though I'm looking at it as him like being under Magic's wing, I'm not so sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so sure. When they were trying to get him to the team, I think they had a 3 hour conversation, the two of them, and he invited him to his house, and it
Mhm.
seemed more about um, you know the pitch to get LeBron there. It I believe that there's a lot of business, stuff that he can get from Magic Johnson. But at that particular point, it didn't seem like Magic Johnson was the one who had everything to offer. It seemed like everybody wanted it from LeBron. So I'm thinking later on, as we move down the line after these 4 years is over, I'm wondering what would the influence of Magic Johnson have on this guy here? I'm wondering
Well,
about that.
ultimately, if I'm LeBron, I'm looking at it like, I'm a major power. LA as a whole is a major power.
Hmm.
This is a hell of a business merger. This is a mega business merger for us to come together. Now I just need that person in between to give me the keys to LA, and
Hmm.
who better than Magic Johnson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He got his hands in the Dodgers, hands in LA, Lakers, man. Yeah, big businessman. So now, okay, so we'll run back to this Magic, to this Michael Jordan thing, man. You mentioned the whole sneaker situation. Like, I didn't really have a big. Let me be careful a little bit. I don't think that it's necessarily his duty, right, to speak out on things like that. It's commendable when they do, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's his duty to actually do so, especially
Well,
when
put it like
people are
this.
making it.
I'm not saying that on my part. I'm not saying that he should have, but I'm talking about the outlook of the people because that's what a lot of people were saying. A lot of people was like, "Oh, Jordan's not speaking out on it," and people are dying. Like even now, like the fact that Michael Jordan is put into the conversation with LeBron James is because somebody said something about Michael Jordan, which was Donald Trump, which people started comparing all of them because he said someone on a tweet about the fact of how I guess LeBron James was on Don Lemon, and he said how Don Lemon was so he made LeBron James look smart, and then he says I like Mike, and then after that I started seeing this conversation about Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan
Right,
compared to LeBron James.
right.
So that started the conversation. So that started the comparison. Same thing is that people were kind of saying, oh, connecting the two, basically saying that, oh, you got brand name on this, people are getting killed for it. Why you not saying that? And I'm not saying that for myself or for anybody. I kind of maybe agree on that. But that's what a lot of the outlook was about Michael Jordan, about why you're not speaking out on it.
Hmm. Now,
I mean, I don't think, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna agree with Greg a little bit. It's like I don't think it's Michael Jordan's duty. Like, it's for them to. People were propping his sneaker up. Like, it's like the freaking Jews in Exodus when they had like the golden calf.
right,
Like,
right,
nobody told people to fucking.
exactly.
Well, nah, nobody told people to prop up the sneaker like that. I mean, it's that consumerist shit, and I'm not gonna say it's Jordan's fault. I mean, I feel like that's the individual's fault. I mean, like if you want to get good in your game, then practicing basketball. A sneaker ain't gonna do that shit. But that's beside the point. I don't know.
I
That's that.
mean, but that's what they were selling them. Like, I like Mike. You put them Jordans on, you can fly. That's what they were, they were selling them for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's the.
Ah,
I mean, yeah, that's the thought. I just think that when we talk about does it diminish his legacy, because he wasn't as active. We'll say publicly, because we really don't know what if what he donates to, how much he donates to. This is just this $7 million donation. And DB, real quick,
Yeah.
tell me what it was the
And
donation
then
to.
even that he donated to basically at-risk communities basically it's to launch medical clinics at-risk communities in Charlottesville, supposedly because he saw some record that they're like at the worst when it comes to that as far as poverty level in North Carolina.
Gotcha. So if
But I also noticed that he also did donate I guess in 2015 to $2 million to help address police-related shootings, which I think comes from that same conversation that was happening before about why he's not speaking out. So it did cause some. It did kind of make him make some kind of actions to actually do something.
like I said, being that I don't think that it's any one of these celebrities, athletes, or whatever there's duty to actually do
Right.
that. I mean, because honestly, man, let's be honest. Some athletes probably are pieces of shit. They're not real role models, or they're just regular people, right? Who have an ability to play a sport. So to look at them like something's wrong with them because they're not doing something that they probably wouldn't do, even if they were, in their own community with no fucking money. I mean, it just
I gotta slightly disagree, G. I gotta slightly disagree. We're in
okay.
a very unique situation. We gotta hold these people accountable. I'm not saying that I'm expecting Michael Jordan to be the next Malcolm X,
Hmm.
but like the point that you pointed to, the work that he could put in silently, that is important. That's 50% of it all.
Hmm.
But the other 50 is your voice because you are so influential. So we gotta gain some type of structure to where we're behind these people, telling them, hey man, we need you to speak out about these kids getting killed behind your shoes, man. We're not telling you to be the next black leader, but at least say something, about these kids
Let
getting
me
killed
ask you a
over your
question.
shoes.
Let me ask you a question with that. Don't want to overshine the I promise school and stuff, but let's just let's
You can keep it going, bro. I'll just cut it out or leave it in.
all right.
You just keep going.
Um, this is the thing. What would Michael Jordan say to a situation like that? Okay, fine. So we got the new release, Jordan 5. What is it? The Great Fives or whatever.
Yeah,
We got Fight Club sneaker store down in New York. What's this down in Soho or something, or one of these sneaker stores down there, lying around the corner, right? And some kid bringing out the last 10 and a half, gets robbed, whatever, and they put it on the news. What do you what tell me what would Michael Jordan say to a situation like that? What would you like to hear from him?
He
put your
can't say
face on this.
anything.
Specifically, Anya, like if you say that we got to hold these people accountable, how would that press conference go? How would that go?
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what specifically he can say, but show your face and say something, man. Don't just hide and act like the issue just doesn't exist. And you know what? That's just people's problem. I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm just in it for business. Say something. Speak out to the community that has made you a billionaire.
Genuine or not? A genuine, or not? It doesn't make a difference. You just want to hear him say something.
Something, he got some writer somewhere that can whip up something real
And
quick. Come on,
that
man.
just recently happened. I'm thinking that just recently happened. I don't think, Michael, this is just a coincidence, man. This money and stuff is being put out there in the news specifically because of what's going on with LeBron, right? Don't know if he
Mhm.
had, any thoughts of or intentions of actually donating that prior to this. But, it wasn't his responsibility anyway. He did it. I'm pretty sure they could use that 7 million. So I don't want to cry over this, the small little particulars. You see what I'm saying? But I'm curious. What could he say to make the community feel better about the fact that this young man was injured behind trying to get a pair of his $200 sneakers? What could he say? What would you
I
want to
think this is
hear?
I think this is undue stress that people put on the black man because nobody. All right, let's say you go rob a car. yo, I'm gonna try to take this Hyundai or whatever. I'm not a car nigga. But I'm gonna take somebody for the Infinity. You ain't asking the CEO of Infinity to be like, yo, my fault. I'm sorry, yo. Nah, man, this is undue stress on the black man. I
I
feel like
mean,
he
not for nothing.
Listen, so
Honestly, I
Andy,
kind of
he
agree
has the
with
right
that
to
to a
not
certain point.
align himself ideologically with certain people or with a group. If he's an individual and he wants to be that individual that don't want to be a part of this black community in quotation marks, he has that right. Then you don't need to be a part of it. So
I feel
I'm not going for that. I'm not rolling.
I feel anybody that feels like Michael Jordan should say something should also put that same kind of pressure on Nike. You know what I mean? Because it's more on Nike than it is actually
That too.
Jordan. You know what I mean? So if you do feel some kind of way, you got to put that pressure where it's really due. Not saying
I gotta
that
be
he don't have any part, but you gotta put that pressure
So
on him.
let me ask you
I
out,
gotta be
DB.
honest.
How do you feel about that? Do you agree with DB as far as the pressure being on Nike as well? It should go to Nike as well.
I disagree. These people are not from our community. They don't give a damn about our community. They're here to make money. We're talking specifically about a black man from our community. He's from the struggle. He's not from privilege. He's from the struggle. He knows
No, but
what it is to be
my point
poor.
is that
He knows
these
what it is
people
to be a
are
black man in America.
no, these people are using that black man because it's not like Jordan owns the main stock on that. Like they're using this black man's image to sell these sneakers, which again people kill. So if those same people feel like Jordan should speak out, then I don't know why you wouldn't aim at Nike as well if they're using this black man to sell you these sneakers, which are getting you killed. That's what
Because
I'm saying.
they have no compassion for our community. They have no sympathy for our community. All they're looking at our community is for a dollar. They don't come from our community, so they can't empathize with the struggle of the black man and woman in America and what we're going through. They're so far removed from that reality.
Yeah,
So to
I feel
me,
like, but just because Jordan has black skin, he doesn't have an obligation. He could be like, I'm not in this community. I don't fuck with you niggas like that. He has a legitimate right to do that. And that's what I'm saying. Like
But do
if he doesn't identify with me, then it's kind of like with the Kanye argument. If I don't know that nigga, like, all right, so keep it moving. If you don't want to be a part of the community, it is what it is. I feel like, nah, man,
so
Jordan don't
so
want to.
so
I'm
now
just
the
saying, if he
question
doesn't want to be a part
becomes
of the community, he doesn't have to.
Go ahead.
So now the question becomes, do we let him off of the hook like that because he is from our community, because he is black? Because ultimately that's what the community is doing. If we do all agree that hey, he
listen,
doesn't
you know
have to
what?
speak out.
Honestly, I feel like about like this. Like if Michael Jordan donated 7 million because of the move that LeBron James made, I'm not mad with it. So I'm not mad with the pressure at all. What I'm saying though is that if you're putting blame on one person just because they're black and is a spokesperson, then it's kind of misguided because the true responsibility comes from Nike. So you should put it on both or mainly Nike to me than just on the black man because he looks like you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna have a like the fact is like to me when you're talking about responsibility, the main responsibility is on Nikes because they're creating this environment more than Jordan is. They're using Jordan to actually do it. That's what
See,
I'm
I
saying.
tell
But
you,
but but now I'm going off of history and I'm trying to think of what type of major corporation has ever gave a damn about us, the black community.
But
So
no,
I'm
and we're
just saying
talking about
historically, I
no,
don't expect them to.
but that's what I'm. But because we're not putting pressure on them. Like if we're talking about putting pressure on Jordan, I'm saying put that same pressure on Nike. You got to put the pressure on them for them to actually do that, or they're not going to care. They're not going to do anything. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not
okay,
completely against that.
here's the thing why I don't really get wrapped up too much into that, that one argument with the Michael Jordan. I've heard it for years, debated. But here's the thing. All right, so these kids are dying because of his shoes, right? But the argument is, why is he selling shoes for $200, right? But if his shoes were 50, no one would be buying them.
Great.
Starberry
I
came
agree.
with a pair of sneakers that was $8, and they laughed his ass out of New York, right? Laughed
They
his
did.
ass out of the NBA,
Yo, he won an award in China too.
right? With the
For a
same
movie
fucking
for a
sneakers,
movie about
with the same
himself.
Starberry sneakers. You feel me? So they was making him jump like Mike when he was in China, right? Either way, but they were only $8, and they laughed him out of here. So the argument is like this: say Jordan says, "All right, you know what, you guys love my sneakers. Let me go ahead and reduce the price to make it more affordable." They won't buy his sneakers anymore. They won't buy them shits anymore. The reason they buy them shits is because not everybody can have them. Not everybody can afford them. As soon as you reduce the price of them shits, nobody's gonna want them shits anymore. That would solve that particular problem. So I don't think it's about. I don't get into that argument because it's not him. It's ultimately the people who are chasing that particular product, though. But again, diminishing his legacy. Um, let's talk basketball for a minute. Um, do you agree that he's the greatest of all time?
He's the greatest
Jordan,
of all time.
Yeah, I'm with
Jordan
you.
or LeBron?
LeBron.
I'm talking about
LeBron is.
Michael Jordan.
Um,
Wait, hold. I'm talking about
oh,
Michael
oh,
Jordan. I'm asking you, do you think, because we're talking about diminishing Michael Jordan's legacy, we first need to determine he's the greatest of all time first to even feel like, because if any of you agree that LeBron is the greatest, then this is a moot point. Why are we even talking about this? Jordan is already way past. So Anya, you think Michael Jordan is not the greatest of all time, huh?
he's not the greatest. He's not. He played in a weak era that was void of talent at his size and his position,
I
and he
disagree.
just rolled the wave. We got to understand the NBA. It's look. I'm gonna say it. All them old heads out there that just love some Jordan.
Oh
Look,
man.
the media and the NBA just painted this guy. You know what I'm saying? So once they called him the GOAT, it's like no one could ever eclipse that title. They built him up in your mind because it was great marketing. It was great for sales. It was great to promote the NBA internationally. It was great to promote their brand. It was great to promote his brand. We got this superstar, but he's not the greatest of all time. They just
Let
pulled
me
the
ask
wool
y'all
over
a
your
question,
eyes.
because y'all know I'm not a big sports fan, but I always find it weird when people say greatest of all time. Because why is somebody like Dr. J not the greatest of all time? I
Good
feel like a
question.
lot of people take the person in their generation and be like they're the greatest ever. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Good
And then,
point.
and then when somebody else come, is you always have that competition. Like why we just can't say he's the greatest of his generation?
Yeah,
Because the game is always going to change regardless. You
Right.
know what I
that's
mean?
a fact.
Right, right. Well, I mean, yeah, I've heard analysts make that argument that we should base it on errors and stuff like that. Um, but even still, man, even if you do that, right? Now this is the era of performance enhancing drugs. So if I'm going to say let's go by errors, then that might take away from a LeBron James simply because he has, and I'm not saying he's juicing or nothing like that, but he has advanced medicine on his side, stuff that Michael Jordan and not even a Kobe Bryant had. You looking at LeBron James going into you can see LeBron James literally playing into his 16th, 17th, 18th year at the same level that he's playing right now. That is unheard of. Now you gonna tell me
Yeah.
that's just all genetics? Is that what you're telling me? All
Yo,
fucking just
yo,
genetics?
I used to say about what I used to say about LeBron is like I thought Nike genetically created him to be like the genetic basketball, like the equivalent of Captain America
Right.
of fucking basketball. That's what I always used to think. I'm like, this nigga's created in a test tube.
I
That's what I
mean,
thought. To promote sneakers.
so to answer your question, Dane, that's the reason why like I like to keep it open, because if you want to start breaking it up into errors, then you're gonna leave it open for the critics, or say for instance, I'm a Jordan is the greatest of all time fan, and I'm gonna have to obviously pick apart all the other candidates. You leave that open. I said, LeBron, there's no way in the world that he's just leaving the court, going home, taking a shower, and going to bed. There is like, and I'm not even talking about
but
no
but but
Neanderthalish primitive ice bath. He's probably getting. I can't even wrapping his
in a
body in some hot silk
hyperbolic
and
chamber.
That
with
shit like Ivan
salted
Drago was in
calves
Rocky Four.
milk or
Don't you
some
remember when he
crazy
was just
shit.
like this? You remember that shit?
Right?
Hey, but hold on. Wouldn't that also help LeBron's argument? Because if he could possibly, allegedly, be on some type of performance enhancement drugs, doesn't that mean that everybody else is on that too? Meaning that the competition is going to be that much tougher, that much stronger, that much faster than ever before?
Well,
Like if
again, I'm
everybody's
gonna
drugged up, it's
let's
still equal
listen. Make
playing field,
sure,
pretty much.
make sure there's
Yeah, exactly.
ADP. Make sure there's some kind of disclaimer here or something.
Yeah,
So
yes.
when I
Yes.
say, I'm just
Allegedly.
saying the error, right? Not even saying it is an allegation. I'm just saying that what's available to him on, let's say, the legal side, just the advancements in medicine in general and physical therapy. things of that nature, is is why his career is going into his 15th and his 16th, 17th, and he's
But let me
playing
ask y'all,
like
because
a bad
whenever I see
man.
comparisons, I hear a lot of people make the comparisons about the game being different. That don't have nothing to play with it.
No, it does,
That's
but
something.
where it differs, right, is like big time, like on 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
As the years have gone by, I don't. Y'all remember that movie? Fuck, what was it? The cat who was the general manager of what was it? The Oakland Athletics, some shit like that, and he was the one that introduced stats versus like superstars, and it was called
Oh, Moneyball? Was it Moneyball?
Moneyball. Exactly. So basically now when you look at the NBA from a Moneyball type of perspective, um, Steph Curry 400 3-pointers a season. Klay Thompson, 300 3-pointers a season. The next, and that's number one and two in the NBA as far as 3-point field goals made. The next individual is probably 100 3-pointers less than the second place, which is Klay Thompson. My point is, LeBron James is not a lights out 3-point shooter. So the game changing, the pieces that work well today, it's not even him. It's not. They're looking for lights out 3-point shooters. That's not what LeBron James is. So if he's doing that in this era, um, he's. I'm not going to say it helps his argument. It helps the
Yeah.
argument.
Come
Anye.
on. Come on. Give it to him.
I'm not
Come
going to
on.
quite say that. Because he's not a lights out 3-point shooter. So all right. So look, man.
You started the
Here's
conversation,
my
Jay.
thing.
I don't know
Here's
shit. So I'll put
I
the
take
question up.
nothing from LeBron James. I watched what he did this playoffs, this playoffs. Take a team of D leaguers to the finals, uh, regardless of how the game has changed. That's fucking incredible for one man
What,
to be
what,
able to
what,
do that.
Another thing that's incredible too is the teams that he keeps facing in the finals. He's facing like all-time great teams. I would argue that Jordan didn't really beat great teams in the finals. Those teams weren't that great. They were
That's
good,
not his
but they
fault,
weren't
Anye.
all-time
Anye,
greats.
that's not his fault, man. He can
Oh, that's
only
not his fault.
play who they put in front of him, brother. So if the quality of Western Conference
It's true.
team is shit, that ain't his fault. It has not. That's what came out of the West. But I when you like I said, when I think about the advances in medicine, and him being able to accomplish what he accomplished, he's undefeated in the finals. That matters, right? Anye, that
It,
does
it
matter, right?
matters. It
Okay, because if
matters.
it
It
didn't
matters if
matter,
you're playing
then they'll be talking
some
about
some bum
was
teams.
Jim Kelly from Buffalo, he making it all these Super Bowls and not coming with a ring. They don't talk about him. They don't talk about him. You feel me? So
That's true.
just because LeBron made it to the finals, it's a hard feat, but you got to win that thing. And
Okay, so let me
Jordan
ask you
was
this question,
undefeated.
G. Okay, so
Undefeated.
let's take it back to the flip side. Okay, back to just LeBron, the human being. No scandals through this long career. Still with his wife through this long career. They say the man is a great dad. I see videos every day of him at his kids' basketball games. He's actually coaching his son's basketball game. I mean, we got to give him a thumbs up for that. To set that model for other athletes and just for black men in general, I think that's dope. What y'all think?
It is. It's phenomenal, man. I, again, I've never who's done anything like this. To
No one. He's breaking the mold.
so and the scandal part. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron James, when he is about, you know, what you can say 42. So let's say LeBron's is about 45 years old, man. I wouldn't be surprised if this motherfucker, ran for office or something.
I wouldn't
Got
either.
into
I wouldn't
Yeah, I
politics
can
or
either.
see it.
something like that. And that's why I asked about the Los Angeles part of things. Like, you know, um, could that be, a site of or where LeBron James's political career kicks off out there in
That's a
Los
good
Now,
point.
wouldn't
Angeles?
he be better off going in Ohio though? because Ohio, he's a darling of Ohio, and I feel like the only reason
Mm,
why a partial reason why he did the school is I feel like a lot of wealth is going to be lost because he's not on the team anymore. So I feel like this is his kind
mm,
of thing because don't you remember the backlash that came with him when he first left?
Correct.
So I feel like he
yeah,
was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do to offset the fact that I'm leaving Ohio.
Correct.
But I think it would be easier to do it in Ohio than LA. I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, true,
yeah,
true,
yeah.
true. Well, I mean, again, so now, but this could be the beginning of his, and it's crazy, man. I wonder if he's a chess player because this seems like thinking like 4 or 5 moves ahead. You know, you need a lot of money to run a campaign. So I know there's a lot of rich motherfuckers out there in Los Angeles. Just go out there, play basketball for 4 years. You know what I mean? Let these, win these cats a couple of championships and let them cut you some real big checks. So you can go back to
Exactly.
Ohio and start running for office. I mean, either way you look at it, man, it's incredible, man. I wouldn't want to make this conversation totally about diminishing Mike and stuff like that, or even putting them together because they've both had their contributions. I know. First off, I'm a Knicks fan. Let me just clear something up, right? So it's strange that being a Knicks fan, I still have that feeling about Michael Jordan. It's interesting, right? But see, with me, I've always been the type to admire, you know, like okay, so I'm trying to think of a boxer. Like you know how boxers, man, these motherfuckers, they always want to avenge that loss. Like they could be, champion, undefeated last 10 years, but this little piece of shit that they fought in the amateurs, they want to fight him, right, and beat him, even though it's one of those things, man. Michael Jordan used to kick the Knicks' ass every
Oh
single
yes.
year. Second round exit
Mhm.
every year. I used to watch my poor Knicks get destroyed, but you gotta respect that man
Think
for
y'all still traumatized by that in New York?
you know why? Because Jordan left before we were able to beat them. When the
Yeah,
year we
yeah,
beat them, Jordan was gone. Scottie Pippen was
yeah.
at the helm, so it didn't feel the same. You understand? So I'm a little bitter behind that he was able to leave on top. Just like these cats are probably bitter that Mayweather left with a zero on his record. You understand what I'm saying? That same thing. So that's why I admire him, man, because he was able to do it in an era
I
where
kind of, I kind of always feel like basketball and those team sports is always weird because you can admire another player from another team, but still kind of have to or show loyalty to your own team.
right.
It's kind of like that.
It's like
You know,
I'm a shake.
it's
Listen,
like a schizophrenia to a certain kind
I
of shit.
can respect them before and and after the whistle, man. I can respect you, but once you on that court, I wanted to see God rest Anthony Mason. I wanted to see Anthony hit him with one of those. I wanted to see Oakman. That's what I lived to see. I lived to see that stuff. But afterwards, once he dropped 55 in the fucking Garden, you gotta respect him. So I still feel like um, as far as the diminishing his legacy is kind of unfair, because especially with this time with the social media and all this other stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
LeBron is out there always. You see him
yeah.
everywhere. Where
And
Jordan,
let me throw in another point, G. I don't know that if LeBron played in the '90s, if he was that guy in the '90s, that he would have accomplished all that he has now. We still got to give props to the fact that Jordan came before him, so LeBron was able to sit back and strategically say, you know what, I don't like that Jordan did this. I'm gonna do this better.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Jordan didn't do this at all. He didn't address this. I'm gonna do this. Every gripe that the people had about a Jordan, I'm gonna make sure they don't have that gripe about me, which is going to set the stage for the next superstar to look at LeBron, the goods and the bads, and say, you know what, I'm going to be better than that guy. So if it's about bettering yourself and it trickles down to the community and the people, man, I'm all
I'm
for
all
it.
for it, man. That's what it's about. Again, one day we'll have to get Ray in a conversation with one of you brothers, man. Because I want y'all to actually get a chance to actually bounce some ideas off him. But he continues to say that it's not the celebrity's job to be involved in these social issues and stuff. But when it happens, that's like the cherry on top, like icing. They
Yeah,
made some millions and they didn't forget about the people, in the communities that they came from. But folks, man, this was a pretty good show, man. Salute to LeBron James and salute to Michael Jordan, man. $7 million donation to that medical facility down in North Carolina, man. I don't want to really make this about a diminishing legacy because both these brothers have made their, has as an incredible influence, lasting imprint, and their legacies should be cemented. Andy, Aye, DB, I'm G Cleve, folks. Reality Gurus. Like, share, subscribe. Take care.